Happy Thursday, everybody. Thank you so much for downloading or streaming the Be Our Guest podcast. The following is the live call-in show from this past Sunday night, December 22nd, 2024. Scotty G joined me for the BOGP holiday party. Of course, the show was recorded before Christmas, so we had some fun talking about holiday traditions with our listeners. We had Jason and Vern call in. Paul called in from out in Jersey. Jen called in from Maryland. Jason called in from up in Michigan. We had a lot of calls and just talked about favorite presents from childhood, traditions that we have, different parts of the country, what we like to snack on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. And of course, we talked some Disney. Jason gave us a great review of staying over at Fort Wilderness during the holidays. And just Scott shared some great stories of growing up, his traditions on Christmas. And you got to stay for those stories. They were awesome. So just kind of a fun holiday show here as we wrapped up the holiday season on the BOGP open line. Don't forget, today's show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan the next Disney adventure for no additional cost to you. Check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports us throughout the year. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You guys are our all-stars. I cannot thank you enough for that support. You can support us as well, just $5 a month. And for that support, you get a bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd love to have you at patreon.com/beourguestpodcast.
Ready to take a trip to the world? You found the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. This is where your memories come front and center on our podcast stage.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the BOGP Open Line for Sunday night, December 22nd, 2024. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from beourguestpodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating this week. I hope it's going to be a great one for you tonight. The BOGP virtual holiday party. We're going to talk Disney, but we're going to talk about your holiday traditions. And my buddy's with me, the co-host with the most, who carried on the tradition of the open line last Sunday night while I was stuck on a plane with a lady that just kept coughing all the way from Orlando to St. Louis. And I mean all the way from Orlando to St. Louis while I just looked out the window the whole way home. But it's okay. I made it. So we're here. Scotty G looking all festive. What's up, Scott? Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, Mike. Happy early Christmas. This is like a weird one, right? So we're celebrating like our weekend, right? We're a couple days close, trying to get the family back because I know Paige is on her way. You're trying to do those last minute things. And then you got to go to work for like a day. Maybe some of us like a day and a half. And it's just like, man, don't you just want to continue on the weekend? And like, it's just like right in the smack in the middle. Now we got to go to work. Now I got to start thinking about work when I've been having all fun being festive this weekend. It's a rough one.
So you have to go to work so this comes out on Thursdays. People on the feed are like, okay, well,
that's true. That's true. It's live on Sunday.
This is live on Sunday. So you go to work on Monday. So you got to go remote, or do you work from home?
I'm going to be in the office. You got to
actually get up and get out and go down the road. Nice.
Yeah.
That's not great. Well, what about the rest of the week? What about Thursday, Friday? You off?
I'm going to be working at home. Liz is going to take those days off. She has a little more PTO than me because I had to take some days here and there, like a half day here and there, like when I get those migraines. You know how that is, Mike. It's tough to work when you got a migraine.
Oh, dude.
So we try to keep the same amount of days because we go everywhere together. Liz and I do, So she had a couple extra days than me. So yeah, her and Emily are going to do some fun stuff on Thursday and Friday.
Well, so you remember last time I had my terrible migraine. I think we take the same prescription medicine. We get these 9 pills that are magical, and you got to kind of ration them because they kind of knock them out, but you only get so many. But we were doing something with the podcast, and I was trying to power through. I put on this Santa hat, which is way too tight. But I've had the Santa hat for probably like 15 years. Pam Forrester gave this to me as a gift like years and years ago when I first started doing the show with her. And it's super tight. And I wore it for like 2 shows we were recording. By the time the show was over, 2.5 hours later, migraine gone. Because I think it cut the circulation off to my brain. So I figured out this is the migraine killer, this hat. Now, I don't have one right now, but I might just hope I don't have one by the time this show's over.
You just can't pack that hat away during the holidays. You got to keep it out at all times. It's like a bedside hat now.
Exactly. We'll see what happens. So so we're going to be taking your calls, 407-413-9395, 407-413-9395. Phone lines will be open. tonight we're not really going to have a password to the show because we're going to be taking your holiday traditions. So of course, we'll be talking Disney. You want to talk about, you have any listener questions? Of course, if you have any questions, we talked, extensively this week about the Disney Treasure. If you want to ask any questions about the Haunted Mansion Parlor, if you want to talk about the Skipper Society or the Periscope Pub or what the staterooms were like, what the entertainment was like, what the dining rotations were like, ask away. But if you also want to talk about your holiday traditions, let's do that. We have our first call on the line. That's why we're here.
Okay, Mike, it's Jen again.
Hey, see, not good. Look at that. It was a better cell connection here. We got you.
Oh,
I just want
thought.
hi, Scotty. I was great meeting you when Len and I were out there last at the beginning of the month. We out in Disney World. We met at Beaches and Cream.
Yeah, it was so. I thought that was you when you said Jen from Maryland. I'm like, I know her. Like we met at Beaches and Cream, fellow Garden. So yeah, that was one of the highlights of our trip for sure. That was awesome catching up with you and Len there for 15 minutes or so. That was really awesome. Wish we would have seen you the next day at Epcot, but yeah, that was a great conversation.
Yeah, and it was such a surprise. We texted Mike, so he's in on this too. But for your listeners, Len and I went down to Disney World and we happened to overlap a couple of days with Scotty G. And Len and Scotty had been messaging each other about trying to meet up. And we arrived on Sunday, dropped the luggage off at the boardwalk, and then headed over to Beaches and Cream to get some lunch. And we're sitting there, and Len says, "That guy behind us, is that Scott?" And of course, he's got his back to us, so we couldn't really tell. But we're looking at pictures that he had just posted on Instagram of Emily. And I said, "That's Emily. That's Scott." So he messaged and said, "Scott, if you're eating at Beaches and Cream, we're right behind you." And he turned around and it was just a wonderful surprise.
I loved it. That was so great. That like I said, that was so great for me on these trips, like just meeting listeners of the show, and like I just love meeting people and learning their story and all that. And like we've interacted so many times, like through the podcast and all that. And that was our first time meeting in person. It just made me so happy that and then we just happened to be at the same spot. It wasn't planned either, like we planned on meeting at some point, but we just both happened to be at Beaches and Cream kind of randomly, and it couldn't have worked out any better. That was so great.
It made me so jealous.
Right? Like one of your favorite places, Mike? Meeting,
right.
Jen and Len?
I haven't got to meet, Jen and Len, and you're, sitting there at Beaches and Cream. And I believe it was cold here that day. I was just like, you guys are winning and I'm losing, but my day will come.
Well, it wasn't exactly warm in Disney at that point either, but it was definitely warmer than Missouri or Maryland.
I would have traded. I would have traded because trust me, I was probably eating like a turkey sandwich and you guys were having Beaches and Cream. So
any of the states, it was going to be cold.
Exactly. I would have traded in a heartbeat. So what do you guys do?
Well, go
ahead, Jen. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say I would like to make it a Christmas tradition at our house to go down to Disney every year at Christmas and look at the decorations and everything. This is the second time Len and I have done that, but it's certainly not a Christmas tradition, and it doesn't involve the family. It's just been Len and I. So, but it is wonderful to go down there and see all the decorations that they have at each of the parks and in the deluxe resorts.
So let me ask you this, because I definitely have an opinion on the Christmas decorations as to my favorite spot. Like if I had a favorite spot at Walt Disney World, I have a specific spot. If like somebody had to say one specific location, like you and Len are going to do your Christmas card, your holiday card. What spot is the most iconic in a resort, theme park? Where would you go at property for the holidays?
We love how they deck out the Wilderness Lodge.
Nice.
The lobby in there is just amazing, and that would make an awesome family Christmas card.
And our friend Kim Taylor was taking pictures there. She's a PhotoPass photographer. That was her station today. She was over yesterday. Today, okay. My days all blend together. Once my wife's off for Christmas break, I can't tell what day of the week it is. Everybody's home. I can't tell. She posted on social media either yesterday or today. She was working the big tree. I mean, what a great spot to have your location as a PhotoPass photographer. Holy cow, it's a good spot.
Oh yeah. I mean, there are a lot of great spots around the parks and everything too, but that is just our favorite. Is the Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah, and plus that background loop at Christmas, I would love listening to that. It's hard to beat. Scott, what would you say to the answer to that question?
Starting to think Fort Wilderness might be my spot after this last trip. Honestly, just going through the campsites and the cabins, like all the decorations that are done there, it's just beautiful. And I kind of like that tree they have out by like Pioneer Hall. You know, it's got like some hubcaps on it. You know, it's just kind of unique. So that always puts a smile on my face when I see that tree out there. I like the outside trees. You know, a lot of the resorts have like the big indoor one, like at the lodges. Like the Contemporary, for instance, is like outside, like in the parking lot. Like that is one of my favorite trees. It's got the big light bulbs. It's all lit up. There's just something about the outdoor trees that I like a little bit better than the indoor ones.
Yeah, I was telling Ben about that. You know, like that tree at the Contemporary, and our listeners maybe could come along with me on that. That tree is enormous, but because it's scale, right? The Contemporary is a huge building. Like that building is just ginormous, and that tree in front of it, I bet you if like you put that tree in front of a normal size building, that tree's got to be 60 or 70 feet tall.
Yeah, I mean it's the forced perspective too. It's so out forward in the parking lot that it looks like it's the same height as
if you put it near a normal size building, I bet you I'd love to know how big it is because it looks big even with Contemporary. But my favorite spot, real quick, Echo Lake. I mean, I fell in love with it at the studios. Just Echo Lake, those retro Christmas decorations. I love those little poodles.
Can't go wrong with any answer here, honestly.
And those old Santas on the lampposts and all that stuff, little balls in the water, Christmas decoration. Yeah, I love it, man. I had a 1 day park hopper when I was down, Jen, and I just went to the studios, Epcot, and the Magic Kingdom all in 1 day. And just
you covered quite a bit in 1 day.
I did, but I mean, it really wasn't about the rides. It was more about just soaking in the atmosphere. You know, had 1 day to kind of. No,
I think Len and I were down there for 3 park days, and we went on maybe 6 rides. Yeah. Maybe 6 rides. So yeah, no, it was all about soaking up the atmosphere and seeing the beautiful decorations and some of the shows. We went to Jollywood Nights, and we did ride Toy Story Mania because that's one of Len's favorites, and we walked right on during the special event. But otherwise, it was just going and seeing all the shows that they had at Jollywood Nights. It was wonderful.
What was the highlight of that for you? Was it the Muppet special or was it anything else? Muppets? Yeah,
the one that Kermit and Miss Piggy hosted. It was Holidays in Hollywood, I think was the name of it, and it was a live stage production. And with songs and dances and stuff, and Miss Piggy and Kermit as your hosts, and we really love live theater, and so that was I think my favorite one.
Cool. All right, so before we cut you loose, guys, have any traditions you guys have up in Maryland? You guys do that specific to your family or your part of the country?
Out here, let's see. We did have, when the kids were little, our tradition was to have open up one present on Christmas Eve and then save the rest for Christmas Day. But they've grown up and moved out, and so we only get together on Christmas Day to open up all the gifts. But that when they were little, that's what we did. We opened up one present on Christmas Eve.
I love stuff. So I love hearing these traditions. So did they get to pick the gift? Did you give it to them, or how did they decide on the one gift?
We would people who like my grandparents that had shipped them in and stuff like that. Those would be under the tree, and we would put maybe 1 or 2 of the ones that we had purchased for them, and or Santa had given to them, and so they got to pick one. And, nice. But that was not the full collection that would be there on Christmas morning.
Nice. See, as a kid, that would drive me crazy because I'm like, oh, which one am I going to pick? I'd be like in such a pickle. That'd just drive me nuts. Like, oh, I get one. I got to pick one tonight and got to wait all the way till the morning for the rest. Oh, my gosh. It stressed me out, even it's like a 6-year-old. I love it, though. Well, Jen, thank you and Len for being such a great part of the show in 2024. And we're going to have a great 2025. And just Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you and Len. And have a safe and happy season up in Maryland.
You too. Happy holidays, guys.
All right. Take care. Tell Len we said hello.
Okay, one, Jen.
All right. Bye-bye. All right,
Mike, I had to share something really quick though.
Yeah, go ahead. So, well, hang on. Let me say the phone number quick. 474-139-9395. Go for it.
So, not to make it too sporty here, but you remember the great show? It's still around too. Pardon the interruption on ESPN.
PTI.
And do you remember like Tony Reale was like the stats guy? Like at the end of the show, he would be like, he'd feed them things that they might have said wrong and things like that. And I feel like sometimes we have our own stats guys when we do these live shows. Like I have friends texting us certain things, like
Yes.
confirming things that we've said. So
Absolutely.
got to share, the Tony Reale stat here from what we're just talking about. The contemporary tree is the largest tree at Walt Disney
Shut
World.
up.
It is 70 feet.
Shut up.
And it is confirmed that is the largest one of all like the icon trees that you see throughout the whole property. So we're right, man. I mean, it is an epic tree, and I love that tree so much.
So as I was riding the bus last weekend, when I was cruising past the Contemporary, and I said, I never really thought about this, but dang, that is a big. I said that. I said, dang, that is a big Christmas tree.
Yeah, I know, because we've done photo shoots. Like it was Beth that told me. Hi, Beth. And we did like a fun photo shoot with our families there. One of the first years we met her, and like we had a blast doing. But like, it's like, how do you get the whole tree in the shot? Like you can't. You gotta have someone be like 30 feet back.
I was gonna say, dude, you'd have to be on the other side of the road. Like you'd have to be back where the Magic Kingdom bus stops are.
Right.
The thing is, yeah, because I was thinking about that. Yeah, because it doesn't look like, it looks normal because but when you think about how big the Contemporary is, that's why it looks normal.
Exactly.
Like,
we were having a dinner at Ohana over our trip. It was on your birthday, actually, this last trip. And we have one of those three. Ohana's funny. They actually have tables for 3 people. They're like up against the window. So we kind of get this vibe, which is nice because I like being by the window to see Magic Kingdom and 7 Seas. And we just kind of look over, and Emily's like, hey, you can see the Contemporary tree even from here. And it still didn't even look small. It still looked huge from back there. Oh, man.
You can see it from we take off from Orlando International, probably. I never thought about like that in the Disney Springs balloon.
It's not quite like what is it, like 199 feet? Is like how
it's a
tall.
Little less. Yeah.
It's not quite Cinderella Castle or Tower of Terror tall, but it's close.
So, hey, I was thinking about this. I got to send a huge shout out to the BOGP Lizards, because this past week, everybody that is running at Marathon Weekend except me, has been doing their mock dopies and all finishing kind of getting those runs in for Marathon Weekend, because as we stand, we're about 2 weeks out from heading down to Florida as this podcast comes out on the feed. And I just got to say, I mean, I see names that I've seen with the Lizards for over 10 years, 12 years. We've been all running together. We've been getting together at all these races. Friends that have just been together. I mean, some of these folks on the Lizards have been going to every race weekend. Princess, Marathon Weekend, Wine and Dine, Springtime Surprise, back when there was Star Wars, Disneyland. I mean, all the race weekends, Tower of Terror back in the day, what have you. And they're like a family. They get together at all the race weekends, but they, not only that, but in between, they're always encouraging each other and putting in the miles. And I see you with all these posts all the time. And I just got to say, I see these people running 26 miles, in a mock dopey, and a 13 miles in a mock dopey, and the 6.2 and the incredible. And you've put in the work, and you're going to have a great marathon weekend. I can't wait to see you guys down there in a couple of weeks, but I just want, I don't get to say it enough. The Be Our Guest podcast Lizards are such an inspiration. You guys are killing it. And I'm so glad that we have this running squad associated with our podcast. I mean, it is an inspirational group is just not saying enough. You guys are you're killing it. So
those ones are hard, and they're hard around this time of year. Like normally, you have another long one on Thanksgiving week usually, and now it's right before the holidays. I had a Facebook memory pop up today of me doing a 20 miler in 2019. Crazy. And I was like, oh my God, I used to actually train for those things. That's kind of what I first thought. Me too.
I can't.
I don't do 20-mile runs anymore unless it's part of a marathon. It's kind of my rule now.
That's my rule too. I did 13 the other day, and I'm like, that's good. We'll get to 13 and we'll just roll the dice.
Yeah,
because I walked the rest.
One of the craziest things to think about, and I think a lot of marathons, mental toughness. I talk about this a lot. You can train. Yes, there's a physical thing, but I think you got to be mentally tough too to do these things. And one of the worst feelings is, sorry if you're running dopey and listening to this, but you finish the half on Saturday and you're like,
shut up.
Dang, I got to do this twice tomorrow.
I know when you finish, what did they say? Like when you finish, if you're doing dopey and you finish at the half,
it's
you're not even
halfway
or something
done with the full.
Yeah. It's something stupid like that. Like somebody always says, you're not even halfway done when you're done with the half or something.
With the mileage, you're definitely not.
No. It's not.
It's fun though. I'm going to be missing it for sure this year. I do the marathon every year, and this year I'm just not.
It'll be Yeah, that's okay. I keep telling myself I just gotta just put one foot in front of the other on Sunday. I know I could do the 5 to 10 and a half because I'll be honest, the first time I've run outside was when I did Castaway Key last weekend. When I was down at Castaway Key, it was because it was perfect weather, man. It was like I got off the ship, it was like 71 degrees, like nice breeze. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do
So
this.
I didn't
It's
ask you
nice.
that when we did the treasure episodes. Did a good amount of people get off the ship that day and go to Castaway?
Yes. Then it was shocking because we had that discussion. We'll talk about that here in a second. We got another call. Let's get this call in. Hey, who's calling us next? What's up?
Hey, it's Jason Miller out of Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Hey. Go green.
Yes, that's a go green.
Go green for sure.
I did not get remember to say go green or go white. I was like, green. Okay.
Just no go blue.
Okay. Exactly. Let's go.
See, I can't even say no to that because I can't say those two words together. I just can't.
Hey, happy holidays. Merry Christmas. What's going on?
And to you, hey, getting ready to head down to Disney in 3 days.
Oh, man. Nice.
Christmas
Yep,
Day.
got a 10-day trip, taking down 30 dancers with my wife's dance school.
You're brave.
So, thank you. About 80 people total.
Oh, my God. God bless you. You sure?
During
During the busiest week of Walt Disney World, too,
yeah,
mind you.
during Christmas week, you can still bail. There's still time to bail.
Luckily, we only have to stay with the parents and the dancers for like a day or two, and then we're down there for 10 days. So the rest of the time is ours.
But wait a second. I don't know how dance parents are, but cheer parents are crazy. Just saying.
Yeah, same with dancers.
I was gonna say, I
I
know,
was gonna say they're probably relatively similar.
yeah, and yeah, because I know because we're friends with all the dance parents too, because we all travel in the same circles. No, so what's the plan? Like, where are you guys staying? Like, what are the highlights?
Doing a split stay, Pop Century with the dancers. And then once they take off, we're going over to the Contemporary.
That's perfect. I see how
So
you're
looking forward to that. And
we're bringing our grandkids for the first time.
we're bringing our grandkids for the first time. They're like almost 3 and 6 months old. So
Nice.
Oh
we'll
my
see how
gosh.
that goes.
And
Oh
staying
my
at the Contemporary is gonna be perfect for that.
Yes.
It's so close to the Magic Kingdom.
Guess what? They have a great
Yeah.
big Christmas tree.
70 feet tall. I guess.
Exactly. You pay,
I know.
You pay attention.
I need to see a Miller because that tree will still be out. So I need to see a Miller family photo by the Contemporary tree for sure.
With the whole tree in the picture.
Oh, for sure. We'll get one. We'll post it.
You just gotta you gotta pay for a helicopter to get the shot.
Exactly,
You know,
a drone.
And we booked the Keys to the Kingdom tour for the first time. I haven't done that tour. So I wanted your thoughts
Nice.
on that one.
Scotty, you've done it most recently.
Yeah, I did it recently. I did it this year. I did it in 24. It was over spring break, and we loved it. You know, as I know, Jason, you and your family are big, diehard Disney fans, and I know you're just gonna love it. Like, just the storytelling that they talk about and all that. Like, you'll just geek out, and like I know you're gonna really enjoy that tour.
Yeah, huge history buff. So I'm looking forward to all the details of it.
That's perfect for you then. Some things and now like I'll say this though, as a big Disney fan as you are, some things will feel a little repetitive. Like, oh yeah, I know this, I know that, but just hearing it from like a passionate cast member, and they'll do some things too that you may not have known too. It's just going to be so great for you. How many of you are doing the tour?
Just 3 of us.
Nice.
One piece of advice though, like whatever they say your arrival time can be, like to get there as early as you get there, even before your arrival time. Because if you have to stand around, typically it's like in Town Square, and you can get some pictures if it's before park opening, and those are some pretty epic pictures. I don't know if it's that with.
And I'm guessing you're going to be doing it one of the days you're staying at the Contemporary, so that should be easy to get over there.
Yep, for sure. Definitely. Walking right over.
Yeah, because when we did it, we were coming from Coronado and we were in a bus. I don't know if I shared this story, but like there was a big accident on World Drive, and did the thing Mike was saying, like we were getting there super early, and yeah, we were like 30 minutes late, just about. Like it was crazy, but like everyone was impacted. So I couldn't imagine like if you were going to Magic Kingdom that morning and like you were staying at a Magic Kingdom resort, like I bet you had the park to yourself because no one could get to the park because of the accident on the roads. It was nuts. So
Yeah,
lucky for you.
hopefully
You're looking for your striking distance. You don't even have to worry about transportation. You can just walk right over. So that's really nice.
For sure. No. Yeah.
Any other new experiences outside of like working with the dance team on those few days? Anything else you're looking forward to, Jason?
So about 20 minutes ago, my wife just booked Artist Point.
Ooh.
Didn't get to do it for when I ran Dopey 2 years ago, so I figure maybe this time we'll give it a shot since we got in.
I've never been there. I've never been there even before it became a character meal. Like I didn't go when it was just a fancy restaurant. Hey, Scott, have you been there? You probably have.
I've been there.
I know you have.
Yep.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I feel like you got to pack a couple Dopey medals with you, and get a
Yeah.
photo of a Dopey with it, even though it's not for this year, but like, why not, right?
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be wearing my Dopey running shirt, so.
There we go.
Close enough.
Perfect.
Yeah.
No, that should be a good time.
Where's the dance
looking forward to it.
competition? Is the dance competition at Wide World of Sports or is it at Coronado?
So they're just performing. That's not a competition.
Oh, it's not
so
a
they're
competition?
dancing in Disney Springs on the main stage.
Ah, yes, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Perfect.
Hey, that's
Yeah.
even
Less
better.
stressful
So then
that
early
way,
in
too,
the morning,
then.
they get behind the scenes and they meet with Disney performers and they teach them a Disney dance, and then the workshop.
That's way better.
And
Oh
then-
my gosh.
They get bussed over and do their 25-minute routine, and
Yep. We
All
knew
day.
we knew a person who did that exact that program. Yeah, that's way better because it never ends pretty when it's a competition. I mean, like very few people win and everybody else is just bitter betties at the end. And you're Walt Disney. I mean, eventually you get over it, but it takes like a day out of your vacation that everybody's just mad. Like, we got robbed by the judges. I'm like, dude, we're at Walt Disney World. How bad is it? We weren't going to win anyway.
yeah, no, they'll all be winners that day.
Except we didn't win in Schaumburg, Illinois. We're probably not winning in Orlando, but that's just me. Anyway, so yeah, you're gonna have a good time. So let me ask you this before we cut you loose. So what are some traditions you have in your family or up towards Michigan? Like Jen talked about, they opened the one gift before on Christmas Eve. What's something unique about your celebrations?
I know it's been a couple years, but typically after our opening of presents, we used to always play win, lose, or draw, guys against girls. Older
like
game, but it's a blast. So,
Yeah.
good time.
I like that. Who used to host that on TV? Bert Convy.
I know. I was
think?
just trying to remember who
I think
did
it was
that.
Bert Convy back in the day. That
It's
was
been
a
long
big
time
game in the
since it's been on
80s.
TV.
Yeah, that was a good. Yeah, I'm terrible at drawing. I hated that game because I can't.
That's what makes it the best. Is
I know it's
trying
true.
to interpret someone's drawings.
God, but I'm terrible at it. But man, that game was hot in the 80s. I mean, it seemed like everybody had that game at one point.
Yeah, that's why I prefer charades. I can do better at that than the draw. But I'm with you, Mike.
Yeah, I think I'd be better at charades if I had to do that. So like real quick, what's like? What do you guys? We have Wingstop at my in-laws on Christmas Eve, so that's real traditional. What about you guys? What do you serve on? What do you guys have to eat on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day up in Michigan?
It seems like we've been doing a lot of apps,
Yeah, so that's kind of us.
appetizers.
Yep,
Everyone brings a dish to pass.
yep, that's us. Little finger dollar
Not
roll
as big a
sandwiches.
meal as like Thanksgiving. So
Nah, same here. Yeah, it's Wingstop. We used to be, now see, here's the deal. It used to be Ponderosa wings. We used to go to Ponderosa and get 100 wings. Ponderosa is no more. Those wings were so good from Ponderosa. So now we got to go fancy and go to Wingstop. You guys have Wingstops up in Michigan? Wingstops?
yeah, we do a lot
Yeah.
of Buffalo Wild Wings as well.
Yeah.
B-dubs.
Yeah, we go to Wingstop. We get those lemon peppers. Get those things, though, and then you're thirsty for a week. They dehydrate you, man. Whew. They're so good, though. You can't stop eating them. It's terrible.
Mike, this is gonna crack you up, man. But like, my dad loved having Ponderosa wings on Christmas Eve.
Dude,
I'm not
I
even
knew,
kidding
I'm
you.
telling you, we are related. This is my brother right here. I could just kill Ponderosa wings,
And when the
man.
Ponderosas in Lansing closed, I would go to Owasso. I don't know if Jason knows where Owasso is, but I had to drive like 45
Oh, yeah.
minutes on Christmas Eve to pick up wings for my dad so they could be happy.
Oh God, yeah.
So I'm like internally was cracking up when you said that. I'm like, oh my god.
We used
Like,
to
that's-
when we went to my in-laws.
dad.
We went way out of the way to go to a Ponderosa to get 100 wings, dude. They'd take them right off. I think off.
come in that big giant bag.
Yeah,
and-
yeah, and I think they took them right off the food bar or something. I don't know, man. They were. Oh,
They're
man.
not known for their wings, though, are they?
Not
I thought it
really.
was like an
They-
ice cream
no,
bar.
They really weren't that special. They were kind of plain. I mean, they weren't like flavor. They weren't like a lemon pepper or like an Asian zing or anything.
No,
they were just like wings. I mean, just they weren't a flavor. They're just like wings. Dang, they were good though.
Oh my goodness. This is really making me laugh. I did not know that about you, but
We destroyed
I had
those
to.
things.
I must have had 20 Christmas Eves with Ponderosa wings in the house.
So did we. That's what we always had at my in-laws, and we killed those things. Well, Jason, hey, Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday. And hey, safe travels down, and we'll be waiting for that picture.
And real quick with Jason, I
I
believe
appreciate it. Merry
messaged,
Christmas.
and Jason, I believe you messaged me that you're flying out of Lansing using like the Breeze Airways, which I have not used. So call us back, give us a review,
Yeah,
or
direct
DM
flight.
me. I'm very curious how that's going to go for you.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Awesome.
All right, see you later,
See ya.
bud. Take care.
All right, thank you.
Killing me. That's why I love these shows where we can talk about
I would-
anything. Ponderosa
yeah.
wings tonight.
I would love to fly to Orlando out of Lansing, but it's always those like smaller airports, and like I'm very brand loyal to like Delta. But man, if you could save a lot of money though, and not have to worry about driving to Detroit and just be like 10 minutes from home when you land, that would be really nice.
Yeah, because so we only fly out of Lambert, which is our St. Louis International, which is only 20 minutes from my house. So that's really nice. Right, I land, I'm home in 20 minutes.
Right.
Well, I mean, once I get the little church bus to the parking lot to get my Jeep. But like, what's your like when you land? Like from the time you land, how long does it take you to get to your house?
In Detroit, so because I mean, land you got to get to the bags, right, which is going to take a little bit, and then I don't do the church van thing anymore just to save time. So I actually like park at the airport, which is like really expensive. Let me just say, like when I'm in the car, it's like an hour 30 to get home.
Jeez, that's like going to Mizzou. That's like so long. Oh my God, that'd
Yes.
kill me.
Then you think about like deplaning, going to the restroom, waiting for your bags,
Yeah.
taking the escalator up to get to the. I mean, it's probably like 2 hours after we land.
Oh man, because like by
Sometimes
the
I
time
want to
you
stop
land,
and get a bite to eat too, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah, see, that's rough because like when you get home, you just want to be done. Like when you land back at home, you're just done. Like you just want to be
Right.
home and like unpack and like let's just get done.
So it's actually like an hour 20 now I think about it, not hour 30. But yeah, still it's brutal. And like we usually land late. So it's just like, man, you land at 9 o'clock and like, man, I'm not gonna be home till 11. Like, ooh.
Yeah, usually from the time my wheels hit the ground, I'm usually at my house within an hour. At least.
Man, I'm so jealous.
And
of
I
that.
usually go through
Now,
Taco Bell.
Now, if it was Lansing, oh my God, it'd be so quick. Because Lansing, like, is a very small airport too, so there's not many flights, so it'd be easy to get your luggage. And then, I mean, planes fly over my head. I'm on the flight path, so I'm really like 8 minutes away from the airport.
Yeah, they make
And
the
then,
turn by us.
but I always drive to Detroit. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
All right, we have our next caller. It's the BOGP holiday party tonight. Hey, who's joining us? Hello, caller.
Mike. Can you hear me?
Yes, is this Jason?
Yeah. What's up? What's up, boys?
Another
How we
Jason.
doing?
Hey, yes, the Jason Show. We're doing great. We made it through 4 awesome football games yesterday.
We did. It was an adventure. I mean, the last game was a little bit of a blowout, but the other ones were, I guess they were all kind of uncompetitive, but we made it.
We're here. Well, we have hope for another weekend next weekend, and maybe we'll have a tight game next weekend. We'll see.
Hopefully, we can win some bets and get ourselves on the Disney treasure.
That's right.
I still believe.
I mean, if you can take the pressure, it's not for me, man. I could not. I just get mad enough watching the games. My blood pressure's high enough without any stakes on the stakes on them. I can't. I'd stress. I'd have a heart attack. Just.
Yeah, I feel like you can't do too much, or else your blood pressure rises too much, and it's just not fun anymore.
No, so what's going on? What are you and Vern doing tonight?
Nothing much. We're actually heading back to our home. We had my family's Christmas, so that was fun. Got to do some games, exchange presents, see everyone. So that was a fun time.
Sweet. So now we just had the big Ponderosa wing discussion here. What was the big thing you had for dinner or to eat tonight at the big celebration? Ponderosa wings.
So it always kind of changes, but we actually did appetizers this time, so that was pretty good. Our appetizer was, we actually picked up Chili's chips and queso and salsa beforehand, so we got to do a little Chili's chips and queso, so that's always nice. But yeah, we went with apps this time. Sometimes we do like ham, turkey, like traditional Christmas food, but this time it was just appetizers.
Can't go wrong with that. I mean, I like what I'm hearing here. We got a little Ponderosa, we got Wingstop, I've heard B-Dubs, I've heard Chili's. You guys, we're all the same people. I mean, you land at a BOGP Christmas party, you are in business in my thoughts here. So, Scotty G, what you got going on? What questions do you have for Jason and Vern?
My questions for them is I want to know, did they purchase the cabin that they just stayed in? Because I believe they were the last ones to stay in one of the old cabins on their last trip. And I want to know, did you put an offer in, and is it being brought to your home?
Oh my God. I kind of wanted to take some of the artwork off and be like, I mean, what are you going to do with it? Like, can I just take it with me?
Right.
It was like bittersweet because obviously we have so many fond memories there, but we knew it had to end, and we thought we were saying goodbye last year when we got an old cabin. So the fact that we got an old cabin this year was, we're kind of playing with house money at that point. So we were just excited to get, one final Christmas there.
Very nice.
So so obviously we just did the report. We're going to finish Scotty's trip report with all the other stuff besides Fort Wilderness, but you guys were just there kind of following Scott. What was the highlight for you all staying there during the holiday season? And again, you guys kind of closed out the old cabins. Scott was in a new cabin, but what are you going to tell the audience about that?
Yeah. So, I think the highlight is always just getting in a golf cart at night, getting a hot beverage or, whatever you enjoy drinking, and just, going looping and seeing Christmas lights and kind of just seeing all the displays that, people, spend so much, hard work getting up and decorating. There's just so many creative people that stay at these, campsites, and they just decorate, go all out. Some are Star Wars themed, some are just, a bunch of Disney blow-ups, Christmas lights. It's just such a fun time, and I just feel like you'll never see that amount of Christmas lights in one spot anywhere else, and it's such an enjoyable time, and you could go hours just looping in and out of those loops and just enjoying yourself. So I think that's always been the highlight for me.
I think you make a good point. You got kind of a density of people that are Disney fans are going to be the kind of people that embrace holiday decorations. They're there and they're going to have the inflatables. They're going to have the light up, Santas and Frosty the Snowmans. And what did you see, Scott? Besides that, what was the triple combo you had on that deck?
I had the Bluey. First off, I'm excited that Bluey's going to be coming to the parks in Disney Cruise Line. We didn't talk about that.
That's true. I don't know who he is.
I had the Bluey, Santa, and
Jesus.
It was Jesus.
What a combo!
It was baby Jesus.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, you got it all covered.
Yeah, and I was just washing dishes one morning, and I just looked over on my window, and Jesus was staring me right in the eyes. Like I'm not gonna leave a spot on these dishes, I promise.
Blue, yeah. It's so funny, but it is. It's a certain kind of people that are gonna decorate all out, right? I mean, I kind of talked about that on Mike in the Midwest. Like when you go to Walt Disney, I saw somebody post on social media either yesterday or today. It said something like, the best part of a Disney vacation is that when you go and pass under those gates as somebody that's not a local, and even for you because you drive over, is that you basically, once you pass under the gates, you kind of hit pause on the real world for just a bit of time, and you can escape reality for a brief moment of time and become a kid again and believe that castles are real and just enjoy life. And I believe that's true. We can complain about prices and wait times and lightning lanes and changes and the modernization of the vacation. But when you boil it down to it, these Disney destinations are pretty awesome, and it lets you escape the real world for a few minutes, for a few days, for a week, and enjoy the people you're with and get to go to some pretty amazing places. Stay in a cabin, stay, in a glorified French Quarter of New Orleans, or, the South, or, the American Southwest at Coronado Springs, or looking like you're staying on an African savanna at Animal Kingdom Lodge. It's pretty awesome when you stop and think about it. Just let the bag go.
Yeah, I feel like every time I'm on property, I know we obviously go a lot because we're locals, but I try at least one time, every time we're on property, I just take, a massive deep breath and just kind of look around and just, I just say that I'm, so blessed to be there, so happy to be there, and just kind of take in that atmosphere and realize, you're in this happy place, regardless of how much you paid or, whatever, you're in this happy place. So just take that deep breath, get it all in as much as you can, and just kind of soak in that atmosphere and really just, enjoy your stay.
I'll just say that can be dangerous sometimes too. I love what you guys are saying. So I was gonna say, I love what you guys are saying where you're talking about like, oh yeah, it's expensive and all this stuff. And like, I've been in that situation though, where, like all the time where I'm like, I don't think about money for some reason when I'm down there.
I've seen it.
I
do.
Where like I'm booking like 5 signature meals and like, yeah, let's add on the scallops and do all this stuff. And then next thing you know, you got a $450 dinner. And then like, I want to buy the new Nike polos at all the resorts. And then you come home and you're like, it's like the end of Home Alone 2, like when you get like the room service bill. My bill is like 3 feet long, and I'm just like, what did I do? But it was fun though.
Oh my god.
See, I don't escape reality that much because I'm cheap to the core. Like I escape reality to like Columbia Harbor House reality.
Yeah, but I mean, it's fun in the moment. But like then I do tend to have a little reality check when I come home for a second.
It is fun in the moment,
but
it is all fun and games until you pass out the gate. And you're like, what's that statement looking like?
Yeah, it is like, and that's like when they email you too. It's like, we're not going to send his folio yet until he's past these gates again. Like, we don't want to ruin any magic while he's in the gates.
Well, back in the day, like for us that weren't locals, the worst reality check was when you got the Magical Express dealio hanging on your door handle. It was like because you would laugh at everybody else that had them hanging on their door handles, but it wasn't your time. But then when yours was hanging, it was the worst. You're like, no,
awful feeling.
Oh man, the worst.
One of the worst though for me with that is that
go ahead.
we had no, Veronica,
go ahead,
chime in.
Veronica.
Yeah, chime in.
I was gonna say, after we went on a Disney cruise for our honeymoon, and I remember thinking like when we were going on, like, everything's paid for beforehand, it's gonna be great. And looking at the card statement after the cruise, that was rough because all of like the extras, all the merch, the spa, I was like, oh no, like that is not good.
That's true. Because cruises are pretty much all inclusive, but
you can make
get
it
on
cheap.
there.
Yeah, well, not cheap, but yeah,
you can. But I mean, dude, you go in Mickey's Sail Away or whatever the store is called, and you're like Scott just said, that's a cool Nike hat. That's a cool Nike shirt. And then you're like, I got to do this tasting. I got to go to Palo. And all of a sudden, boom.
Then you're on Castaway. Then you see all the Castaway
exactly.
And like, nope, I need that spirit jersey.
God, what happened?
Yeah, you're on Castaway. You're like, I got to get the merch. Might as well.
It's so easy to just say, charge it to the room. Sure, that's great. And then you just don't realize.
Well, because now you have a magic band. It's it's easy.
I'm a joker, right? So I'm like exaggerating a little bit, but I'm just gonna give my Scotty G feedback. Be responsible still, like while you're on vacation. Like have a good time for sure, but like know your means. Like I generally have a good idea that I know what I'm spending and I know I'm gonna pay the price when I get home. But just know, like don't think like it's like an unlimited credit card because you are gonna have to pay that when you get back. Just my PSA.
Disney is a business.
But man, it's
fun.
It's fun in the moment man, when you're charging with your magic band, right?
Right?
And you're just like, oh yeah, life is good.
So
it also stinks that like on a cruise, it's like this is all happening at like 8 a.m. Whereas like if you're at like Walt Disney World, like your checkout's at 11, so like you can kind of wake up and like start to realize, all right, I gotta pack everything up and get everything together. But like a cruise, like you get everything packed the night before and like it's 8 a.m. and everything's happening, and then you're off the ship, and you're like, oh, geez, like reality just kind of sets in like so quickly.
Oh, dude, on a cruise, it's hard. Like you're getting up like at 6:45 and getting ready for breakfast. You're off the ship at 8, and you're like, what just happened? That's
you're
the
like,
roughest.
how am I already off the ship?
Exactly.
The sun isn't even up yet.
I know. You're
what
like,
is going on?
Yeah, that's the roughest.
I'll tell you what we
adjustment
do.
back.
We like to do on Disney Cruise Line is like we like to pack and like put the bags in the hall. but then we still like to celebrate with a little room service that night. We get like that one last thing. Now you do have to leave a gratuity for the crew member that comes, but like we just go to town on the room service that last night. Like I'm gonna get him one last time. Oh man, it's fun. I love cruising.
All right, well, hey, we're going to cut you loose, but you guys have a very Merry Christmas down there, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yes, we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a very Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, guys. Bye-bye. Stay safe. Be careful out there. Bye-bye.
Ciao. See ya.
Okay. All
Mike,
right.
your episodes with Ben this week just has me like cruise fever, man. I'm just telling you.
Well,
like,
I think I know. Oh, my gosh. I think I know. All right, we have calls rolling in here. We got them stacked. All right, we have another call. Hey, who's joining us?
Hey, Mike. Hey, Scott. Paul from New Jersey.
Paul, my friend. Thank you so very much for the gift this week. I appreciate you, bud.
both of us.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm glad you liked it. And I could have listened to Jason and Vern all night, so that was no problem. You guys were cracking me up.
We had a little feedback there, but we did the best we could. They're in the car. They're in the car. It was fine.
Yeah, no. Especially Scott, when you were like, it's almost like they put a GPS on you and wait till you leave the gates before they hit send on the folio for how much you're going to owe for your bill.
I feel that's
what I feel like sometimes.
Yeah, especially when it was like the Tragical Express when you used to take the bus back. It was just like they hit you with everything on that.
Yeah, sad bus ride, how much you spent. Yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah. I wanted to tell you guys about it's a Christmas party, right? So let's make it the BOGP Christmas party all day.
It is.
I'm thinking, for a menu, why don't we start off with the Christmas time Captain Crunch, a little bit of coffee and a Starbucks Been There mug. For the main course of the day, we can go with some Sorrento's pizza and a counter, and we can close it off at night with Dairy Queen. That'd be a nice.
There it is.
I had Dairy Queen last night, and I'll be having some Christmas Captain Crunch tonight after the show before bed. That's what I've been having every night before bed, for the last month.
So Mike never actually asked me what I do today. So I talked about we do the wings at my dad's house, but here we actually do. You can dig in again. We actually do a charcuterie board at my house for the holidays because it's just easy to go and pick and grab. So we just take our island. We just make a massive charcuterie board on the island.
So do you prepare that the day of, or do you prepare it ahead of
time?
The day before. So we'll go to the grocery store tomorrow. Well, on Monday, on Christmas, the day before Christmas Eve, Festivus, and get everything prepared for it. Yeah.
Nice. Sweet. What
about you, Paul? We gotta hear what's happening in New Jersey. What are you doing? What are some of your traditions?
Okay, so my traditions actually, as you say, Festivus. My traditions actually start on Festivus. It's my birthday, so I get to call the shots. I get to call the shots on what we're having for dinner, and it's tradition that we have. And please don't laugh, sushi pizza, which is actually sushi for those who don't like pizza, and pizza for those who don't like sushi. And for me, I get a little bit of both. Christmas Eve, we try to work in. There were some Christmas Eves where we did Chinese food or takeout or such like that. This year we're having more of a potluck at my daughter's house. And then Christmas Day, we used to have a Christmas brunch usually. And then we'll have a filet mignon roast with, sides and such like that for dinner. And that's pretty much how we roll it every year.
Hey, that sounds good to me, man. I'd take that. But I'm still stuck on the sushi pizza thing. Because I like both. I like both. I could go for that. I've never heard of that, but I could go for that. See, nobody in my family would never touch sushi. They don't like any kind of seafood. But man, we found a place. It's kind of like a sports bar around here. What's the name of the place? I think it's called Damon's. It's like a sports bar. You guys have those around you? Maybe
we used to have Damon's 20 years ago, but
was it like a ribs place?
They went out of business.
Yeah,
they did ribs. And
stuff?
Okay,
that we did have. That was a long time ago. This is a different place. But they have a sushi. I mean, I don't get something fancy. I get a California roll. But I mean, in Missouri, that's fancy. That's sushi. So I get that, and it just freaks out my wife every time I get it, and I eat the whole thing. But that sounds sushi pizza. I could do.
Yeah, it started out. The funny thing is because it's obviously everybody's busy shopping, wrapping, doing whatever 2 days before Christmas. So pizza became the easiest. when my kids were all young.
Absolutely.
And then as my sons got a little older, they're like, yeah, we're a little tired of pizza. We like sushi now. I'm like, I'm like sushi. And they're like, well, what are we going to do? I go, how about both? So we did both that one night, and it's just been that way ever since.
Perfect. That's perfect. That's
I like how
that's
traditions.
a birthday tradition right there.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I love how traditions start. Yeah, that's cool. Ours is always because the girls are so picky. They just like the meatballs, the meatballs in the crock pot that have like barbecue sauce on them and like a little grape jelly mixed in there. A little grape jelly to make them sweeter.
My wife used to make those with jelly.
Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, we put like there's barbecue sauce in. There's like a little grape jelly mixed in to make it a little bit sweeter. That's what like all the kids eat. But I mean, I sneak in there and get a couple like little, weenie. They're like little weenies.
With your like 15 wings from Ponderosa.
Oh, dude, I'm already getting a stomach ache thinking about Christmas Eve because, dude, I eat too much. And then you got the piles of Christmas cookies, right? I mean, which you go back because like I don't know how it is like where you guys are, but at my in-laws, there's a million presents. I mean, because like even the adults buy presents for each other. I'm against this, but like my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, like we'll buy presents for, I mean, not big presents, but like we'll all buy presents for each other. I think the kids should just get the presents to me because it's like it turns into this whole big thing. Like so everybody comes over to our house for Thanksgiving. So as soon as Thanksgiving's over, like dinner, because my wife has 4 sisters. And so they all get out they still do the paper ads, right? And they get out the notebooks and they get out their phones of the notepads and everything. And everybody decides what everybody wants, all the kids. And it's this military operation of what everybody wants for Christmas, starting right after we finish Thanksgiving meal. So they can go out on Black Friday, or they used to, and now they start shopping. And so we go over on Christmas Eve to my in-laws, and they have a smaller house than us, and our house is small, and it is just jammed full of people and all these gifts. And then everybody's opening. I'm not saying it's not fun. It is super fun, but it gets to be like 1,000 degrees in this house because it is so many people and there's no room to move, but there's food everywhere. And so, like while everybody's still opening presents, 37 hours later, I'm like, I'm going to go get my 37th Christmas cookie after I've had, 87, weenies that are stuck in the grape jelly barbecue sauce thing and my 37th Ponderosa wing. My stomach's like, dude, stop. What are you doing? You usually don't eat this much in a week and you're eating all this junk. Quit.
You can't step anywhere without stepping on a present, right? You got the box for the wrapping, and then the trash that gets created. It's astronomical.
It's ridiculous.
That's what I was going to ask. I was like, who's got the big black trash bag that's collecting all the
that's Don. My father-in-law is the trash like king. He keeps the bag. And I learned early, you do not because at my grandparents' house, like it was a funny thing. You wadded up the Christmas wrapping paper, right? And everybody threw it at each other because we were all like punk kids, right? So I fired at my cousins. He'd be like, boom, and you'd smoke them because I was a pitcher, right? We would leave like welts. I think I fired one time at their house. Dude, no, you don't do that. It's Bullington. So I found that out real quick. So you just hand it over to Don. But he keeps that all, and then he puts it in the back of his pickup, and he runs it up to the recycling place the next day or whenever. And because he has to go into town because they live out in the country, so he takes it up into town. But yeah, it's a whole thing. I would not change it because it is awesome. I love it. It's so cool. But I mean, it's one of those things like I will have a stomach ache for sure because I have no restraint. I mean, there's like, well, I had double chocolate chips, and I gotta go get a sugar cookie. Now I got to go get a snickerdoodle. You got to sample the whole thing. But it's after having, those weenies and all different kinds of wings and dollar roll sandwiches. Oh, it's in chips and dip, and it's self-abuse.
We had that. The kids still get a lot, and we have the 2 granddaughters now. They'll get a lot. But for the adults, we moved, and of course this is going to be typical. We moved to the White Elephant. Because it's got to be Christmas. It's got to institute some kind of draft, right? We have to have numbers that we pick and what gifts. There's got to be strategy involved. So we at least eliminated some of the total volume of gifts that way.
That would be good. And the kids are getting older now, right? We don't have that many little kids anymore, but there's still quite a few presents.
No. Yeah, they're all getting older now. 2 of them have kids of their own. So it's getting a little easier to manage.
The first year though that I met Pam, like and I went over before, like we were just like starting to date, and I went over to her house, and this is at her parents' old house back where we used to live. And that year, I could not believe the presents they had under the tree. Like it was way more than it is now. I was like, and I thought my grandparents had a lot of Christmas presents under their tree when I was growing up. I was like, are you kidding me? That's what I told her. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, it was ridiculous. And it's so bad that like my brother-in-law, Joe, they have an open stairwell. They had one in the old house too. It was a split level house. Like he has to sit in front of the steps because there's so many people and so much stuff. Like it is literally a hazard that somebody could fall down the steps at any time because it's an open stairwell, like playing in their new house and their old house. And so he stands there and just makes sure that somebody doesn't kill themselves going down the steps. I'm telling you, man, you should come out with us out to Moscow Mills, Missouri. That's where it takes place out in the country. It's a trip.
Oh boy.
And then we make it to Christmas Eve service somehow after this.
Somehow it reminded me, Scott, of your vlog when you and Emily were playing horse and there was, remember the line of there's a crime about to happen here or something like that?
Yes.
That's what I feel like with the fire hazard, with the stairs, and everything's about to crumble down at the household.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I know. I hear it on that, Paul. Like,
I'm
glad they have like someone like assigned to certain tasks. Like so.
Oh, that's his job.
You got your brother-in-law handling the stair.
He's always at the stairs. I will take a picture and put it in the Discord. Like I'll discreetly, because I don't know if they want a picture. I'll have to discreetly take a picture and put it in the Discord. But it is wild. But I'll have to try to get it before we open the gifts because the gifts.
Oh my gosh,
it's wild. And like,
that's cool. Please do.
Paige gives out the gifts. Like that's her job. Her and Donna, the oldest sister of my sister-in-law, like that's their job. They're the gift giver outers. They're the elves. And everybody's got a role. I just kind of sit there and eat too much.
I mean, I'll say it used to be kind of crazy at my house growing up. Just the four of us, my brother, my mom, and dad, and like it would be like we'd always had a real tree, and it would just be massively surrounded by gifts, and we'd always do our stockings first, and that would be like the first quarter, and then everyone would do a round of picking out a gift for everyone, maybe another round, and that would be like, then you'd be at halftime. Then you get like some breakfast sausage and whatever, like get a couple like snacks, like while you're analyzing like your gifts. And me and my brother would be like looking at what's under the tree still,
Yes.
That was like a big one. Like,
yes.
Like I want to say that one for the fourth quarter because we would do another round where everyone picks a couple. Then the fourth quarter would be like the sort. Right? Like that's when you just like make piles of like what you have remaining. So then like me and my brother would be like madmen, like going under the tree, like, oh, this is Bob, this is Mom, this is Dad. Oh man, I haven't heard Scott called yet. What's going on here? This is unfair, So then we like do the fourth quarter sort. And then you know what you have left. So then you count them. Like, well, I have 12 left, and my brother would be like, I have 15 left. I'm like, well, that's not fair.
Exactly.
And then you would start from like whoever had the most left would start first, and then like once he got to 12, then I'm in the game, and then we like just go in order, and then like I would just like feel the package, and be like, all right, well, this seems like it might be socks or something. I'm gonna open that now because I don't want that to be my last gift, So you'd be strategic on how, like what you think your big gift is. You open at the end of fourth quarter. And then I'll tell you guys, I was bummed there wasn't an overtime. I wanted there to be overtimes, when I was a kid. I wanted more, but I will say we still do fourth quarter at my dad's, but it's not like it's like 3 gifts, Basically, like we open up a gift and like, all right, it's fourth quarter sort now, just to keep the tradition alive.
I love that. I've never heard of that. That is epic.
You were mentally preparing. You were mentally getting ready to run marathons back when you were a kid opening Christmas gifts. That's a whole.
There you go. Right. That's how I did my training. Yeah.
Dude, I love
that. Maybe I'll have to do a video of the fourth quarter sort, and it'll be like a bonus must-see adventure video of us doing this sort.
So let me ask you guys both this because we're getting up to the top of the hour here, and this is one question I want to ask you guys both. So let me ask Paul this first. Going back to your childhood, and I've seen these like all over, over the internet over the past week or two. There's this picture of like a kid with like his mouth wide open, his eyes like popping when he opened that one like crazy gift of his childhood. Like, what was that one gift that you came out and like you just couldn't believe you got as a kid that like still sticks out in your mind? That like, holy cow, Santa brought this, or you got this gift.
Okay, this is there's always one I remember, and this is going to be perhaps completely laughable, and it shows off my type A personality, have to overplan and over-organize everything. But laugh if you want. It's my biggest childhood memory of a Christmas present. I wanted, drum roll, a cork board that I could pin stuff up with as I was trying to organize things on my little room desk. We didn't have a big house, so I had everything on this desk, and I wanted a cork board. And I remember I grew up an only child, so I was getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. God knows, Santa's coming early. And I ran out there, and there was a cork board with all the little pins in different colors spelling out Merry Christmas. And that was my big moment. Laugh if you will. It wasn't a toy. It wasn't anything like that. Although we used to tear up that Sears wish book every year and make lists like crazy. That cork board was the one thing I remember the most.
No, but I love that, because that's totally your story. That's totally unique to you. And when you see that, and I love that the pins were spelling out Merry Christmas, right? I mean, that's perfect. Mm-hmm. That's unique. I mean, nobody in New Jersey probably got that gift. Santa, you probably got a custom order of one on that. Everybody else got a bike.
Yep. I'm excited about the socks of kids' gifts, but you know what? I'll take it.
I love that. Scotty G, what about you? Like, what stands out from your childhood? Like, what was that one thing?
I can't remember like a specific gift, but I'll tell this one really quick because this one really is a good memory for me. Fourth quarter short, is going on, and me and my brother Bob would like try to open one gift, and my mom would kind of be like, you might want to save that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Like with like 6 to go, or something. So easy. Get down to like 3 to go, and I put my hand on it. And she's like, oh, that's probably fine if you want to open that. And it was like a box of like blow pops, like the suckers like with the gum inside. And I'm like, what? Like, why would this have been like a top 3 gift? Like, I was mad. Okay. And then like my brother got a similar one. It was like this, I think it must have been from like Sam's or some wholesale store, because it was like this massive box of like all these candies. And Bob got one too. It might have been like Milk Duds or something or whatever. And he had a big old box of candy. And we're like, man, what's mom like dad trolling us? Like, oh, that's a top 3 gift or whatever.
Fourth quarter.
So like, I don't know, 3-4 hours later, you're putting your stuff away in your room, listening to new CDs you got, things like that. And my brother, all of a sudden, like we share like a wall, all of a sudden he's like, oh, like he's going like crazy. And he like comes like barging in our room, like, you got to open up the blow pops. And I opened him up there, and there's like a new Super Nintendo game, like in the candy.
No way.
I think it was like Breath of Fire. So it was like this RPG game I wanted to play. So I'll never forget like that. Like it was a video game that I really wanted, and my mom like really psyched me out, thinking it was like candy. And then like till hours later, till my brother figured out that there was something in those like candy boxes. And then, of course, my mother, if you guys never met my mother, but she was a very big traditional person. Like, oh, that happened once, so now I got to do it again. So like the next 6 Christmases or something, there was always like a funny candy with something buried in it going forward.
So now when you see candy, you're like destroying it. Like, oh man, I thought there was going to be something.
So I tried to do, maybe I should do something like that with my brother this year, because we did get him like a new like Switch game. Now I'm like thinking I might have to like put in like a big old box of candy as a little joke this
Bob.
year.
This is coming in a Cracker Jack box.
Yeah,
I love
that.
All right, Mike, you got to answer the same question.
Don't fall far from the tree, right? You are master strategist. We were looking at the parlays and such yesterday, right, for the college, and you had to have gotten it from somewhere. Mom was playing chess.
There it was. It came from my mom.
He just decided like he was just gonna tear into the candy though, and then you just heard him like,
my brother's like closer to your age. He's like 6 or 7 years older than me, and like I just think like because I was kind of younger, I think he was just like trying to figure it out.
He's
like,
probably just like, this can't be it, right?
This can't be it, right? Yeah. The way mom was like, oh, I wouldn't open that yet, like. So he just dove into him. He's like, there's got to be something in these things.
That is so funny. Okay, so mine real quick. I mean, I remember, and I was such a nerd, right? My biggest one that I could not believe I got, because we didn't really get huge presents too. One was I got a Huffy bike one time for Christmas, and when you're a kid, I don't know if this was true like for everybody, but like in my neighborhood, this was true. Like if you got a bike for Christmas and it was in your living room, like Santa brought it, it was like getting a car. I mean, it literally was like, it was like a car, right? And it wasn't, a lot of my friends got like Mongoose and like Diamondbacks. I remember it was like a big deal in our neighborhood, like what kind of bike you had looking back, like, you know, like the BMX bikes. Mine was a Huffy, but it was okay. It was like, I remember it was yellow and blue, but it had like it didn't have the spokes. It had the mag wheels, like the plastic things. And I thought that was the coolest. And it had blue tires. Like the rubber was blue on them, and it was like the coolest. It was heavy as a tank, but I didn't care. It was a Huffy bike, and it looked cool. And I remember when that thing, it was shining up like a penny under the Christmas tree. When I came out around that corner, I was like peeing my pants when I saw it. I was so excited. I was probably like 7 or 8. The other thing I got when I was probably like 11 was I got a Commodore 64 computer, and I just could not believe that I got a Commodore 64 computer, because like I wanted one so bad, because my friend in elementary school had one at his house, and I'd always go over there, and we'd play summer games on that thing. I don't know if you guys ever played summer games, but it was like the Olympics. It had like a little opening ceremony, and you picked your country, and it would have like the doves, and the opening ceremony would fly away, and then you do platform diving and swimming and gymnastics and all the track and field games. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And my dad was a tech nerd. He still is. I mean, obviously works. He's a radio engineer. He's looking back like I am my dad. Like I didn't realize it until about the last couple of years that I'm basically living my dad's life. But I just wanted a computer, and when I got it, I just took the thing and I ran with it, and like ran a bulletin board system in St. Louis after that on that computer for years, over a decade. You know, people called it and left messages, uploaded and downloaded illegal software. Hope the statute of limitations has run out on that. But yeah, you know, I love that thing. It was I used the crud out of that thing. But yeah, I couldn't believe when I actually got a Commodore 6. That's showing my age, but a Commodore 64, man. It is like that thing when I opened it, because it was just like a rectangle box, right? And I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, because I didn't think we could actually, you know, I thought.
Well, but you got psyched out. Like that was like it was the opposite of the candy. There was nothing in the box. Oh man, that would have been so cruel.
So my grandma did that to us grandkids. Because she always told us if we were bad. My grandma from Kentucky, she always said if we're bad, she'd always threaten us. If we're bad, we're going to get switches for Christmas, right? Switches. I don't know if you know switches or sticks, right? Did you know that, the term?
Yep.
No.
Scott, you don't know? See, I didn't. She had explained to us when we were little, like switches or sticks, because we didn't know what switches were either. And so one Christmas when I was probably like 8, and my oldest cousin was 7, his brother was like 5, and my younger sister was like 3. They were like shirt boxes, you know, just like the rectangle shirt, like, you know, dress shirts come in. We all had to open them at the same time, right? So that was the trick. And we all opened them, dude. Sticks in all 4 boxes. There are switches. And so she's like, yep, you guys were bad this year. Y'all got switches. This is our first gift. And dude, all of us were crying, because she took a picture of us, and we're all crying. And they played us. I mean, my family is just cold hearted. I mean, to do that to us, like when we're like, you know, 8 or 9 years old, we thought we were getting switches, like in all of our gifts, because we were bad. And they thought that was the funniest thing.
Kentucky. My dad was from West Virginia. His dad used to when he did something wrong, his dad made him go pick out his own switch. And he thought, if I'm smart, I'll get the smallest, lightest, whippiest one I can get. And my dad used to tell me that was the biggest mistake he made.
Well, I mean, we never got hit with switches. I mean, that was always the thing.
No,
like, go get a switch. But I mean, I never thought I was going to get them for Christmas, but yeah, dang, we got a box full of sticks. I was like, I was worried about getting hit with it, but I was like, dang, I just lost a whole Christmas. But that Christmas, I ended up getting a Capsella set, which again, nerd gift, because it was basically like Legos, but it was gears like that you hook together, and then they would float in the bathtub, and you can make like little like boats that were robotic. God, such a nerd. I got stupid gifts. I didn't ask for G.I. Joe. I asked for Capsellas, but that was me. So Paul,
I didn't mean.
Go ahead.
I didn't mean to awaken any trauma with actually getting hit with a switch. And since you were worried about the statute of limitations, Mike, on the bulletin board, with my grandpa and my dad now passed on, I don't think anybody has to worry about statute of limitations there. But the switch, that was my switch story. How I knew what it was.
Yeah, my bulletin board was not called the Farside BBS in St. Louis. So just saying. All right, we got to go. But Merry Christmas to you, Paul, and the family.
Yeah, it was so great talking with you both. I wish you both a Merry Christmas, healthy, happy New Year, and thanks for everything.
All right, we'll talk to you soon, buddy. You have a good one.
Happy early birthday tomorrow.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right, take care.
See you.
All right, man. That's good stuff, though, tonight. Talking a little Christmas. I love these memories. I love your stories. You got some great stories.
Thanks. I do have a lot if I can remember them, but yeah, I do.
That's the truth.
I like that, dude. That story was great. The Commodore 64, man. That is a heck of a gift.
Well, it's one of those things like I wanted it so bad, but like I didn't think we were ever going to get one, you know.
Right.
And then when you actually get it, I kind of talk about this.
So
I'm
good.
you know, your parents sacrifice that you don't realize it till you're older, right? Because they sacrifice a lot to get you things like that.
Absolutely. And then we carry on the same thing for our kids.
Exactly. It's like I don't even know what I'm buying at this point because you know, like
it's like Christmas is like me on Walt Disney World trips. They're like, yeah, I just keep buying all this stuff. Yeah.
That's why I tell Pam, like, what does Mallory want? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but okay. All right. I guess if it makes her happy, whatever. But let's go. All right. So we are going to duck out of here and wish everybody a Merry Christmas. I know Hanukkah is celebrated on the same day as Christmas. So on Wednesday. So hopefully you have a happy Hanukkah if you're celebrating that. And our friends at Shine Gold are celebrating. So have a happy Hanukkah and all of our other friends.
Lots of friends celebrating Hanukkah.
Tons. So what else we got? So this is coming out on Thursday. So I'm trying to think of our schedule. So next Wednesday will be New Year's. Oh man, this year is going to disappear on us really quickly. And then we'll have Marathon Weekend coming up like a week later. So we'll have another live call-in show next Sunday night. I can make it. You're still gonna be in town, right? You gonna be around?
Yeah, I'm not really leaving this year. So yeah, I'll be around.
I don't know if we're going to the bowl game or not. It's a weird scheduling thing. We'll see. Yeah. Seats are cheap, maybe. It's a quick drive, but we'll see. All right, so we are going to get out of here and wish you a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And don't forget, our show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We're still standing by. We could put, a trip not under the tree at this point because Christmas, by the time you hear this on the feed, is kind of behind us. But we can get you down there in 2025. There are some specials for Disney Cruise Line for Disney Plus subscribers for early 2025. If you have kids, that's the one time in life kids might save you money. They usually cost you money. Also, Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Adventures by Disney. We can book those trips for you. No additional cost to you, and we'll get you great booking bonuses. So check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. Thank you for supporting us in 2024, and thank you for your continued support as we move into 2025. Just $5 a month, and for that support, you get a bonus show called Mike in the Midwest, kind of like the stuff we talked about today. We just talk about life over there and have a good time with that. So come on over to patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. You can give us a follow on the social media. I'm at beourguestmike. You can follow Scott at epscott, EPSCOT, but more importantly, give him a follow over at Must See Adventures because he's been editing all day for the next episode. And Scott, will that be out by the time this show comes out? Probably.
Yeah, it should be out by Christmas. Yeah, just got to do the overdubs. We got to get Liz Gardner in the studio to talk about our Santiago tour that we did in Spain. It was an awesome day.
I thought when you said Santiago, I'm like, you went to Chile? I'm like, wait a second, you didn't go to Chile? I'm like,
it was a cool episode. Like, the architecture was what was really beautiful about this one. It was fast paced too. So the video is gonna be kind of weird. We're just like at landmark, not like really stopping. So that's where Liz is gonna come in really handy with those overdubs and so many churches. So we saw a lot of like 1,000-year-old churches. It was super cool. So and some time on the ship too. So it's gonna be a good episode.
And that was in Spain, right?
That was in Spain. Yep.
Southern Spain.
Northern Spain. So this is actually where like the pilgrimage happens in Europe. So like there's these little like icons throughout all of Europe that like take you to the pilgrimage, and it's kind of awesome. So they will go to like the St. James Church, I believe that's what it is, and like people will be like kissing the ground. They've been doing this trek for like days and days, backpacking, and it was pretty emotional just seeing people like do this because I believe that's where like the apostle like St. James is like supposed to be buried there. Mm-hmm. Like the church was built on that. So like it's really cool, really emotional spot. And it was just breathtaking.
Yeah. Cause Paige actually took her basketball team over to Spain this past summer to play in exhibition games over there, like 3 or 4. Cause she had one girl on the team that was from there and they took the team over and played like 3 or 4 games and then kind of vacation for a few days, but they were in southern Spain. But they went to a few churches there, and just the pictures she sent back, oh my gosh,
it's unbelievable.
I mean, it was some of the most beautiful, the beautiful architecture and the stained glass and just like the plaza where they were staying. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh man.
So good.
Oh, it's so I can't wait to see it. So yeah, check
Yeah.
that out.
H might I might take her back a little bit, watching this.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna show her because
yeah. So, but then 2025, I plan to crank up the editing because, like, man, we got a lot of content to share. We got Disney trips, we got all these other things. So definitely see a lot more of us early in the year as we share our travels.
Yeah, I know you need to get that back. We call it your sweatshop there going. You can get that.
I know
those editors cracking those elves.
Having a full-time job is makes it tough on the editing. I'm just gonna say that. And it's like I'm not saying like my editing is like the best, but like I don't want it to be bad either. So like I do put a lot of effort in, or else I could slap it together really quick and it'd be a bad episode.
I know how you are. You're a perfectionist. I know you want it to be perfect. I get you.
I try to be, but I'm not as like good with this yet, but I'm learning still. So, but yeah, if you can like and subscribe, that'd be awesome.
Yes, please do. Like and subscribe over at Must See Adventures this week because you are going to get some quality content every time that hits your feed. So check it out here as we wrap up in 2024. All right. Also, we'll have a live call-in show next Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. We'll have fun. We'll talk about all the Disney news. Of course, it is kind of light during this time of the year, but I will tell you that you can probably anticipate a discount coming for Walt Disney World here in 2025 in the first couple of weeks. So just put that on the calendar. Little birdie told you. All right, we are going to get out of here and let you know that we just wish you a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And we'll have shows this week. Well, by this time, you've already had them on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and today. And we'll have one for you tomorrow on Friday. So for Scott, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Thursday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
You've been listening to the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. If you have questions, comments, or would like to be a guest on the show, please visit our website at beourguestpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you real soon.